Hey, this is Jocelyn Chong, sales and mindset coach. If you really want to learn how to level up in your life, you should be listening to the Time to Shine Today podcast with my wonderful friend, Scott Ferguson. Let's level up.
Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. This is Scott Ferguson. We're episode 373 with my awesome sauce friend, Jocelyn Chong. She's over in Australia. We had such a fun conversation. I'm so blessed for her patience to be able to bring her on because we had some hiccups in our scheduling. But man, we just had such a fun, enlightening conversation where you're going to want to break out your digital note taker or your notebooks, because I had 3.5 pages of notes just speaking to my good friend Jocelyn. You know, she's went through quite a journey in her life, which I'll shut up here and let her share that with you. But also, you know, just her visions and goals to help her clients align and thrive were just above reproach. So if you like this episode or you know someone that might need it, please share it. Like it, subscribe to it, all that other jazz. It really helps sponsors and affiliates and also my interviewee. So without further ado, here's my really good friend, coach, author, just absolute rock star, Jocelyn Chong. Let's level up. Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. This is Scott Ferguson. And I have my awesome sauce patient friend who's we've had to reschedule a couple times, but she's down under over in Australia. And she's my really good friend, fellow mindset conditioning coach here, Jocelyn Chong. She's internationally recognized networking specialist, 4-time #1 international best-selling author, global speaker, certified sales and mindset coach, and the host of the fantastic podcast. Don't go there yet. You have to hear her knowledge nuggets. It's called the Magnetic Accelerator Podcast. She empowers female entrepreneurs and business professionals to learn to master the art of intentional networking so they can accelerate their business growth, power, and possibility, and break through the proverbial glass ceiling. Jocelyn, thank you so much for coming on. Please introduce yourself to the Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. But first, what's your favorite color and why?
My favorite color, blue. I love blue.
And why is
calming.
That? It's calming.
It's just really calming. And I live near the ocean. So I'm 5 minutes away. And every time I go there and I walk, and I was like, blue, it's just like, wow.
Beautiful,
it's just that real connection. And then in Australia, we have clear blue sky, blue, the kind of blue that you look up and you're like, I am so blessed.
Right.
I am under this clear blue sky.
It's beautiful. Yeah, I'm actually looking at the Atlantic Ocean right now. I live on the ocean in South Florida, and I'm right there with blue with you. I thought you were going to say like pink or something because you're rocking the pink, you know, but no, everything, you're beautiful. It's in your color wheel. It's fantastic. So let's get a little bit to your origins, the roots of where you kind of started and how you worked your way up now that, you know, you're a highly sought after coach, best-selling author, and how you really got there.
So I was born and raised in Malaysia. At the age of 17, my parents sent me to Australia for education. So after I graduated, I decided to embark on a career in banking and finance, working for the top leading banks in Australia. And I was working in the wealth management division. Mm-hmm. So the core part of what I do day to day is to help people structure their finances, make sure that we can help them save, create wealth, and then ensure that when they are retiring, that they are retiring with the right kind of amount, and they can pass on generational wealth to their family, to their loved ones. Yes. So that was the core part of the work that I do in banking. And of course, throughout that journey, I was promoted to many different roles, and I did a lot of coaching on finances, on sales, on mindset, on life coaching, because people that come to us, you know, they go through all sorts of different life issues, right? It's not like finance only, but there's something more. So usually the surface part of what's happening, there's many layers down that we are digging deep to the root cause, and then we help them unlock that. So what happened was, after 22 years, I experienced a redundancy in 2019 because the banking industry went through a royal commission in Australia, And what happened was the banks found that it's really costly to keep the wealth management division.
Really?
So they decided to shut down the entire license, and I was impacted. So at that period, it dawned on me that there was a few things. I was married to my work, and my work was my whole identity. And then I realized that I also wanted to always set up my own business, because I coach all these financial advisors to set up their own business. We issue a license, we mentor them around lead generation, we help them keep focused around their business operations, around their sales process. We empower them around a lot. And I'm like, I would love to actually have my own business and support others that way. And one thing that stood out for me was I wanted to help more female, because there was a lot of men doing really well in business, but we didn't see enough female who equally does as well. So my passion is to really invite female who are ready, who wants to be in business, to like, come on, let's do this together.
Yeah.
Because women have more areas that they have to overcome. And I knew how I overcome a lot of my own pain points, my own trials and tribulation, and I want to equally support women to do that as well. So then I set up my own coaching and consulting business, and fast track, that's where I am today.
You are there. I love it. And it's funny, you were actually prepping yourself, maybe even subconsciously, to become a coach, doing what you did, is basically in the financial world. I noticed I'm a real estate broker still. I don't do as much in the real estate world, but when I was working with people, showing them a house, like I'm sure you bought a house, right? And you have a husband and wife, you become almost like a marriage counselor, sometimes a babysitter, because the kids are running all around while they're looking at the house, a psychologist, a psychiatrist. I mean, all of them. And I'm sure in the finance world as well.
Oh, yes.
They have that as well. You're basically there different. I mean, if you have a husband and wife there and she wants money to go one way and he wants money the other way, it's like, so it just fit right in with your coaching. Am I right there?
Yes.
Okay.
It's like the whole lot. Even when I'm hiring someone, you kind of like, sometimes they don't perform as well, and you got to help them with their career performance.
Yes.
And then you go, maybe this is not where you should be, but you have got talents here, which I see, I know. And then you kind of like a career mentor too. So it could be a whole host of areas that whenever that need comes up, that we are able to support them through that, give them some process, set out the vision, help them bridge that, give them a transformation that they're looking for. And that's how it is. That's, in my view, coaching and sales coaching is all about, to help them transform, and they get out on the other side far more inspired, better, stronger, and they are getting the right outcomes from their financial perspective as well.
Yeah, and I love that you said vision, okay? Because a lot of people will say goals, which goals are great, but people like you and I that are driven, like the top of one mountain is just the bottom of another, where if you have a vision, you can laterally move between the two, right? And set different goals to move. I love that you said vision. So when you're working with these females, Jocelyn, is it a lot of one-on-one work that you're doing?
Yes, at the moment, my core part of my business is one-on-one.
Beautiful.
And I do have group coachings that I had launched the last few years.
Okay.
But I'm also in the process of doing more group coaching this year. One of the reasons why I feel that one-on-one was really powerful is because they want to be in a space where they feel safe. It is judgment-free. They can bring things that they would never tell anyone, like anyone. And I keep things very confidential, because I knew in the banking and finance world, people share their darkest secret with us, right? We see the darkest of things.
Trust me, my advisor knows stuff about me that my mom and dad will never know, right? Sorry, Dad.
So it's important that the one-on-one for a season, sometimes people need it. And then when they are ready, they are able to really become a group, I suppose, work in a group and then share a bit more, because in a group, you do not know people's background. People come from different perspectives and it can be different. So I see that the one-on-one can really shift things very, very quickly when they're ready, they're willing, they want to see transformation, and they go away, they implement that. Voila, the magic happens.
I love it. I love it. You're really taking them through I like to say inch by inch, it's a cinch, right? By the yard, it's hard. And you're really taking them from a one-on-one to where they can even feel comfortable in a group setting. And then they can share their transformations with each other to help each other level up. That's beautiful. So maybe when you're working in the discovery period, Jocelyn, with a one-on-one client, you're still kind of, getting to know each other, making sure you're the right coach as well. Is there any secret sauce that you use, if you don't mind sharing, to maybe help them identify that initial blind spot that's really that first challenge?
I think the first thing is to really listen to where they are, their current reality. I call that the reality check, where they come in, they tell you exactly where they are, they pour their heart, and then you can really understand and repeat that. Like, we all listen to different things throughout the whole discovery conversation.
Right.
But more importantly is to repeat back. Did I hear you right, Scott? This is what you said.
People love paraphrasing, man. That's beautiful.
And at the same time, Scott, you said, this is your vision. This is where you see yourself. And so where I can help you is to bridge that. This is your current reality. I work with you, X, Y, Z. And then you can see yourself in that vision happening right there and then.
Wow.
So that is how I come on a journey with them.
So basically you listen not only with your ears, but with your eyes, your, kind of like the touch, the vibration, the energy that they're putting off, and you help them with that game plan. I absolutely love it. Is there any good question that you wish that they would ask you, but never do?
I think they really need to ask me about, tell me, how do I know that you will be with me on the whole entire journey? Because I'll be scared. I'll be sometimes overwhelmed. Sometimes I might feel that I have distraction along the way, and we might plan for this amazing 10 steps, but life gets in the way. It could be whatever. So are you going to walk me through that journey? And my answer is yes, every step of the way, because the reality is that we've got all these ideas and plans and ways to implement things. But you know what? Life gets in the way. It could be sickness. It could be, something that gets you off track. And we include that. Yes. And we include that in the whole coaching part, that things will get off track to bring you back to track, because that is just life, right? So nothing is going to be linear, but it's along that windy journey that I will walk with you there and there, guide you, support you, champion you.
Right. And also there's things that could happen to the coach as well, that maybe put a pause on it. Like if you had a baby, or, my lady had a baby or whatnot, but you're going to remind them, hey, we're in this, we're together, you're not alone. And that's what a lot of people really need to hear. That's yes. And they should ask that coach, hey man, are you here? That's what I love that you said that, Jocelyn. So networking. Okay, you're a professional networker. And I like to say I don't get networked or outworked ever. That's the way I feel. It's just my work ethic. But can you give me what your definition of a professional networker is, a good networker? And also, what do you see some people, let's start with this. What do you see a lot of people out there networking doing wrong?
I think they network, but they are not intentional. So when they are not intentional, they are there, like they do the right thing. They go to the networking event. They are talking to people. They leave the networking event. They didn't follow through. But they didn't, if you think about it, they didn't do the wrong thing. Right. They're still ticking every single box.
Right.
But for me, what I've learned from that unintentional networking, that I was that person before, I realized that I need to shift the way I approach networking, because time is a valuable resource. Huge. If I'm going into a 90-minute networking session, I want to know, can I be of value to someone? Because I want to be a blessing, right?
Yes.
I don't want to go for a networking event, have the most beautiful lunch, sit next to the person, chat a few things, next to the other person, touch on a few things, and then go away and go, that was a great networking event. I ticked the box. I reported to my business leader myself.
Right.
I went to a networking event.
I was there. Right.
I was there. I think it. I went. I was consistent.
Right.
But there is another approach that we can really take. That means that we're going there prepared. We set the intention. I always want to go into any events or activity with a clear intention that, right, how can I be of service? Which means being prepared. Number one, when I'm there, who can I talk to? If I'm going to talk to 12 people, I want to connect with 12 people. Then, I might get 5 connections out of that. And then I might connect with them on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram, whichever platform that mutually we are comfortable to communicate. And then can we follow up with a conversation one-on-one? And in that one-on-one conversation, can both parties have equal amount of time to speak? Because there's also a networking event where both parties are talking on a one-on-one, but it is not valuable output. You can have a one-on-one and just talk about the sky, the moon, the best chocolate cake, the best, whatever it may be, and it's not valuable and it's still a one-on-one. So the one-on-one that I conduct is, how can we support each other? How can we partner with each other? How can we collaborate? Whether it's a best podcast that I've just listened, Time to Shine. Have you had a listen to Scott Ferguson's podcast? That's one resources to offer, right?
Right.
And then the other thing is, what are future opportunities? Would you like to be a guest speaker on an event that I'm part of? Are you looking for speaking opportunity? Can I do quality introductions? It's strategy.
Right.
And then, what kind of clients are you looking for? Maybe I can offer a few ideas. Maybe we can brainstorm 5 minutes. And then from that 5 minutes of brainstorming, that person's walking out with more ideas that are richer.
Right.
So that's the way I approach the one-on-one now. Because I knew that I could do a one-on-one, but it was not valuable. And it's still a thing.
Right. I love that you said that, because when I go to networking events, I have one goal. And that is for the person that I'm talking to. Like, networking events, you're always breaking off into little one-on-ones, talking to people. My biggest goal is for them to say, wait a minute, what does Scott do? Because I make it all about them. How can I provide them service? Who are they looking to talk to? And then I would love to set a one-on-one with you. Do you have a card? That's fantastic. And I immediately go to my car and I write a thank you note, and it gets dropped in the mail before I even go to bed at night, right? So that's the one thing that I've learned, and I've gotten so many contacts that way, business, if you will, because they're like, wait a minute, what do you do again? People will say that, like, I'm sorry, didn't know. And that it just sets that stage for that, because, one of my biggest client generators, if you will, are financial advisors, because they're working with people's money. And a lot of times they have the blind spots, not just about money that you talked about. They have blind spots about everything else. So I will look for financial advisors to see how I can help them. And then just say, I have a free hour of power to offer your clients if they're stuck on something. And it's fun. And I love that you and I, because God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, right? So we can really listen. I love that you said that. You're definitely a professional. Thank you. So have you seen the movie Back to the Future?
Yes, many years ago.
Right. It's almost 40 years old. I mean, like, I'm 51 and I was young when it came out. So let's get in that DeLorean, that fancy car with the doors go. Let's get in that DeLorean with Marty McFly, right? Let's go back to the Double Deuce, the 22-year-old Jocelyn. What kind of knowledge nuggets might you drop on her? Not so much to change anything, because your whole story is phenomenal, learning and leveling up, but maybe to help Jocelyn shorten her learning curve or blast through maybe just a little bit quicker. What might you drop on her?
I think I would really seek for mentors and ask questions. Take on board their ideas and feedback and actually implement. Because you can ask questions and they go, oh, that was a great mentoring session. And then did not test the ideas they offer. It's actually in the doing and testing that you go, oh, I wish I had done that. I wish I did that even more.
Yes.
Because if I did that even more, I would not be where I am today. I'll be far further in my steps forward in the future.
100% farther. Wow.
But I realized that a bit later in my life, which is okay. Everything happens for a reason.
Sure.
So now it's like if I have mentor, people who are real, like, you know, their heart. You can feel their heart, right? When they are so willing to help you.
Yes.
And you're like, that's the kind of people that you want to surround yourself with.
Love
like,
that.
Because our friends will always be around us, but
Sure.
it's actually mentors that are like 20 steps, 50 steps. And you got to get into their energy.
Yes.
How they think.
Yes.
What they do. How they do their morning ritual. How they connect with people at work.
Yeah.
How did they deliver work?
Right.
Like, so curious around that. And that just gonna really, really supercharge everything you do in life.
Thank you for saying all that. You know, it's like we funny way of saying we get our asking gear. We ask for that help, right? And you know, the mentors are there because, you know, I'm being my age now, what I've been through, I'm mentoring more people. You know, and I believe my mentor always tell me, the more you mentor, the more immortal you become, because they're going to take what you've taught them and pass it forward and pass it forward and pass it forward, and then it all come really back to that. That's beautiful. So, Jocelyn, how do you want your dash remembered? That little line in between your incarnation date and your expiration date, your life date and death date. Hopefully, it's way, way down the line. But how would you like your dash remembered?
I like people to really remember me as someone who is really compassionate. She's really encouraged me in my challenging moments, whether it's, you know, where I don't know where the next step is, but her words of empowerment, the way she celebrated me, the way she see the greatness in me, I want more of that. And that's why I do, because I have a superpower of seeing greatness in others. Because when I see someone, it's a gift that God has blessed me with. Like, I know this person can do so much more.
Sure.
And I of course want to get their consent before I share that with them, because not everyone that I see greatness is willing to receive that
right
season and time in their
life. I love
life.
that you said that. I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off because you asked permission. There's so many coaches out there, God bless them, that they'll just throw what their thoughts are without asking for permission to give. Because you ask for permission, it almost like you can metaphorically see their heart open up. Because while they respect me to ask for that, that's awesome. That's amazing. You're one of the first coaches that actually said that they actually ask for permission at times. I mean, there's times where you and I as coaches would be like, dude, quit your crying, in a sense, not like that, but hey, it's time to pull up our boots and get to work. So, Jocelyn, what do you think people might misunderstand about you?
I think a lot of them misunderstand my passion.
Okay.
That, oh my God, you're so passionate. You're too fast for me. Yes, I know that I'm passionate. I have got the ideas. I'm ambitious. And it's good because a lot of people do want to stay comfortable, and their brain will continuously tell them to stay comfortable, because doing things outside of anything that is, you know, challenging us is uncomfortable, and people don't want too much of that.
Right.
But I'm someone who's like, I want to test something different. I know that I might fail, I might not get the results, but I'd rather be on the other side, that I test it and then I know, okay, if it's not working, it's all right. If it's working, voila, I found something else.
Found it.
Right. I think a lot of people mistaken me for that. And a lot of people also mistaken that I genuinely care for them. But I think sometimes they're like, no, you know too much. That's okay. I don't want to hear about that.
Do you ever get, you know, you're a beautiful, powerful, confident female, right? Do you ever get a misunderstanding that you have a chip on your shoulder because of the way you carry yourself?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Well, how do you handle that without being, because you can either handle it one way or another way, like being bitchy. Sorry for my language, but Some people might say that,
It's real.
like how do you handle that metaphoric chip that you have there?
So, Scott, in my career in banking and finance, I had that all the time.
Sure.
But I could not let that every day hold me back from progressing forward.
Sure.
Because when I was so successful, even when I'm gone up to the stage receiving the awards, the clap, some of the people that clap you are the leaders because they see you, they want to support you. But also the people that's equal or beneath you, they don't feel that way because you are better than them.
Sure.
And I always become very aware that this is my humble journey. I worked on it, right?
Love it.
It
Yeah.
didn't come to me overnight. And if you're willing to come on a journey with me, you know how hard and how willing I am to change, to adapt to new things, to welcome feedback. And if you're willing to do that hard yard, you will be equally as successful, if not more.
Right.
But those are the things that people aren't always happy and they're envious and jealous. So this is how I approach it, Scott. I realized that I cannot please anyone.
Sure.
In this world, there is 3 types of people. The first third of the world, they hate me because I'm successful. No matter how well I do, they will hate me.
Right. Always. Yeah.
1/3 of them, they are neutral. They're like, yeah, neither there nor here, whatever. And then the third will be, my people. They will support me. They'll champion me. We'll build deep relationship. We'll take each other forward to the next level. So I just see the world that way. And I'm not going to waste my energy on people that are not, they are so aligned clients, I call them, also, communities. It's okay. We can't be everyone, be someone to everyone.
Someone to everyone. Absolutely. So, Jocelyn, that's a great answer, by the way. That's really like hits home because, I make 2 New Year's resolutions every year since 2009. And one is to make someone smile every day. Okay, that's one thing. And 2, unless I've hurt you, disrespected you, or stole from you, I don't care what you think about me, ever. Right? Because I'm going to still champion you and support you no matter what. And some people, you have to do it from a distance and just through energy because they're part of that 1/3 that, you don't care what they say, but you still want good stuff for them. And I love that you're humble enough to stay humble, but also still championing your life and helping others champion theirs. That's beautiful. So what is your definition of a life well lived, Jocelyn?
I think it's knowing that every day we are a living human being. Like we are in abundance because, think about this, right? Recently, I had this real cool revelation. I was hugging my partner and I was like really listening to his heartbeat. And I was like, oh my God, did you know that your heart is formed, I think about 3 weeks into the conception of your parents, right? That's where your heartbeat started to form and your heart never stopped and your heart speaks to you. And I was like, wow, that heartbeat continues to beat and it doesn't take a break, even when you sleep. No. Like even when, that whole function, that whole organ in your body is so powerful. And I'm like, wow, that is amazing creation by God. Yes. And so I think it's so powerful that we continue to think and really tune into our whole body system, our mind, our soul, our spirit, our heart, and just be that true light to others.
Gosh, that's beautiful. And we're human beings. We're being here. We're not just existing. We're being in the moment. I love that. Time to Shine Today podcast, Varsity Squad. We are back. And Jocelyn, one day we might meet up and maybe have a conversation on some of these questions where we might talk 20, 30 minutes about them. But in our leveling up lightning round, you have 5 seconds with no explanations. They can all be answered that way. You ready to level up? Let's do this. Jocelyn, what is the best leveling up advice you've ever received?
Someone that told me that, live your best life and be a service to others.
Love it. Share one of your habits, share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
Every day I devote time to pray because I
Beautiful.
know that I am in connection with the highest source of the universe and I'm
Beautiful.
not alone. So I'm
That's
asking source universe to
yep.
really help me.
I love it. And that's where all the goodness is. So the closer you can align to that goodness, and that includes money, that includes love, includes everything, the more that will come to you. I love that you do that. So, Justin, if you saw me and, yeah, man, Fergie looks like he's in his doldrums a little bit. He's not looking happy. He's a little down. Other than your book, what book might you recommend for me to read to level me up?
So I've got 4 books, and one of them is called Success Codes.
No,
It's
no,
a
not your
chapter
books.
where
We'll get to your books. Another book other than your book. 5 seconds. Give me a book that you would refer to me.
The Rich Man in Babylon.
Oh, Richest Man Babylon. Classic. Love it. What's your most commonly used emoji when you text?
The smile with
All the teeth?
the small one.
I love it. I love it. Nicknames growing up?
Josie.
Okay. How do you spell that?
Jocey.
Got it. Oh, Jesse. Got it. Okay. So do you have a hidden talent or superpower that no one knows about?
To be honest, I love baking, but it's
Okay.
not good for my waistline.
Me neither. Chess, checkers, or Monopoly?
Monopoly.
Yeah, right. What would be the headline for your life?
Jocelyn have really impacted thousands of lives through
Beautiful.
what she has done.
Love it. Is there anything that was $200 or less in the past year that you've spent, $200 or less, American dollars or whatever it is in Australia, $200 or less that you've spent that's really helped you level up?
Yes, courses.
Beautiful.
I have
Love it. What's your go-to ice cream flavor?
salted caramel.
I love it. So there is a sandwich called the Jossie. Build that sandwich. What's on that sandwich?
It is a special sauce with tuna and cheese melted, toasted with multigrain.
Well, that sounds good. That sounds good. Favorite charity and or organization you like to give your time or money to?
Kiva is a charity organization that helps women
Oh, beautiful.
give loans to them so that they are able to go away and build their business.
How do you spell that, Jocelyn?
Kiva.
Kiva. Okay. And Donnie, put that in the show notes. Okay. Awesome. Last question. You can elaborate on this one a little bit. Well, what's the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
80s.
We're best friends now. That's beautiful. I love it. I love it. I'm 51, so I grew up in the 80s, right? So it's like I graduated high school in 1990. So it's like the 80s was it for me. So Jocelyn, how can we find you, love?
You can find me on my website, LinkedIn, or Instagram.
What's your website?
jocelynchong.com.au.
Awesome. And all that will be in the show notes as well. Oliver, she has a fantastic Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all that. And she's also authored a bunch of different books, but there's one that really we talked about off mic that stood out, Success Codes. Could you tell me a little bit about Success Codes, please?
Absolutely. I participated in that multi-author book called Success Codes because I went through a journey in my life where I needed to think about how I redefine success because the old way of me redefining success was very different. And so through an awakening moment in my life in 2019, I captured that story and I wanted to share that with others so that it would inspire you to think about how you would define your new level of success in the way that serves you, help you stay in abundance, and help you know that you deserve it all and it's available to you. Success is available to you, is inevitable for you.
Excellent. What, because I know it's a collaboration book. Do you know what chapter number it is? Don't worry, because we'll just make sure that don't worry about that. Because squad, what I want to do is I want to do a 4 books giveaway. So the first 4 people that puts Josie, and we're gonna have it spell it Joce, Jossie, and I don't care if it's Pinterest, Instagram, LinkedIn, any of the comments where you see this, or you can text me, Jossie, Joce, to 561-440-3830. I will personally mail you out a book on Time to Shine Today's Dime. The first 4 people that does it, and also the next 10 people that we'll say networking. Whoever puts networking in there, I'll get the Kindle edition for you. And just let me know where to send the Venmo money, and I'll do it any other way. But I want to get at least 10 to 15 books out to you guys on Time to Shine Today's Dime. And Jocelyn, if you don't mind, please leave us with one last knowledge nugget we can take with us, internalize, and take action on.
One thing that I hope that everyone would really take away is to really deepen your relationship with yourself. Because the more you know who you are and you create that awareness, the more you're going to shift things that limits you and then welcome things that actually is available for you.
Oh my
gosh. Build a deeper relationship with yourself.
Wow. That's strong. That's a way to end this show, squad. And like, I have pages and pages of notes, with my good friend here, Jocelyn Chong. When she was 17, she was sent to Australia for education, and she really worked into the banking, finance, and really helped people start that generational wealth and help them really level up on that monetary financial side. She found it to become redundant, like she was married to her business. It became like her identity, but she knew that she had a passion for not only growing her business, but also helping others grow theirs even more from a different angle, not just the finance side, like she had been doing in the financial world. Her passion really is to help females overcome their pain points, their trials, their tribulations, and help them move forward, and she really found that the finance world parlayed into the coaching because there's so many similarities with that. And she sets up the process in the visions, and she has that game plan that she helps you work through. She creates a judgment-free space where people feel free to share. And when they're able to do that, she can help them. She does that by really listening. I call it listening with her neck. She really leans into you and listens and helps you develop that game plan to not just from a fantasy place, but she said reality. From a reality place, by listening with all her senses, she will help you get to where you need to be there. And if you're starting to work with a coach, which hopefully it's Jocelyn, ask her or him if they're there for the long haul. All right, there's going to be things that come up. Is a coach when things get sticky, because everything is hard at first, messy in the middle, and beautiful in the end, especially with coaching. When it starts to get messy, the coach's still going to be there. She's somebody that wants you, if you're out networking, to be intentional about your networking. Don't do things, especially if you're networking, for the attention. You do it for the intention. You want to see how you can help the person that you're talking to. Try to get them on that one-on-one so you can work out a partnership to help each other grow, right? And if you're young, or even if you're not young and you're kind of stuck, there's mentors out there. Get your asking gear, ask around. Obviously strategically listen to the things that you're going to need to hear, but get that mentor there. And she said that it's in the doing and the testing. She says action. Everyone lives by this law of attraction. But the thing is, squad, you can't spell attraction without action. And so the doing and the testing is where that magic happens. Jocelyn will be remembered as someone that's compassionate, encouraging, championed you, celebrated you. I mean, she's literally planting trees she's never going to sit in the shade of, because she's on a, like I like to call, a humble, honorable journey in her life to help the females of this world really level up. And you really, lastly, want to deepen your relationship with yourself. The closer you can get in that relationship, you can find where the roadblocks, those blind spots are, and be able to shift around them and work towards your vision. And that's what my good friend Jocelyn will help you do. She levels up her health. She's level up her wealth. She's humble. Yeah, she's hungry. She's absolutely beautiful inside and out. And thank you so much for coming on. You earned your varsity squad letter here at Time to Shine today. Thank you so much, Jocelyn.
Thank you so much, Scott. I really appreciate you. You're doing a wonderful job here.
Thank you so much. Chat soon.
Chat soon. Bye.
Hey, thanks so much for listening to this episode of Time to Shine Today podcast. Proudly brought to you by Sutter & Nugent Real Estate Excellence, who can be reached at 561-249-7266 and online at www.sutterandnugent.com. If you are a business owner or professional who would like to be interviewed on Time to Shine Today, please visit timetoshinetoday.com/guest. If you like this episode, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to our website. Also there, you will see our recommended resources. We hope that you will support our show by supporting them. If you like what you've been listening to, it'd be great if you could just give us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe while you're at it. I'm your host, Scott Ferguson, and until next time, let's level up. It's our time to shine.